In 1968, NASA's Lunar Orbiter 3 photographed something strange on the surface of the Moon. What appears to be a dark structure about 20 miles across was found near the crater named Aristarchus. The mysterious object looks like it could be a gigantic metallic monolith, something that doesn't belong on the Moon at all. A few years later, in 1970, NASA's Lunar Orbiter 4 took another picture nearby, and again, the peculiar object appeared right in the middle of a crater. Was this an enormous piece of alien technology? Some scientists think there's a simpler explanation. They believe that both images show the same object and it's completely natural. But not everyone agrees. And over the decades, many scientists have come forward with equally bold claims about the Moon itself. Could our closest celestial neighbor actually be a giant spaceship disguised as a ball of rock? Before we explore the evidence for and against a fake Moon, let's look at why scientists might want to hide the truth in the first place. For most of human history, the Moon has been a source of wonder and inspiration, but it's also played a vital role in the development of human civilization. Without the Moon's gravitational pull, Earth's oceans and atmosphere would be very different, and life as we know it probably wouldn't exist. Some researchers even believe that water from the Moon helped kickstart life on Earth. If that's true, then the Moon is more than just a pretty face. It's a critical part of our planet's life support system. That's why it's so important for scientists to study the Moon. By understanding how it formed and evolved, we can learn more about the history of life on Earth. Unfortunately, some people don't want us to know everything the Moon has to teach us. That's because the Moon could hold the key to one of humanity's greatest mysteries, the question of whether we are alone in the universe. If we discover that the Moon is artificial, that would be a huge deal. It would suggest that there are other intelligent species out there that are much more advanced than we are. These aliens could have visited Earth in the distant past and left their mark on our history, or they could be living among us right now, watching us and waiting for the right time to make contact. Now let's talk about some of the stranger things that have been observed on the Moon. In recent years, scientists have noticed that the Moon seems to be wobbling on its axis. This discovery suggests that something massive has crashed into the Moon in the past and knocked it off balance. Some researchers believe that this impact may have been caused by a rogue black hole or a collision with a neutron star. Others think it was caused by a planet-sized object known as a protoplanet. Whatever the cause, it's clear that the Moon has been hit by something big and heavy, and that's not all. In 2013, NASA's Impact 4 lunar sounding experiment involved crashing a spacecraft into the Moon to study the acoustics of a lunar impact. You may be wondering why they didn't just drop a rock from a spaceship instead of crashing the whole thing. Well, it's because they needed a very specific sound signature to make this work, and that's exactly what they got. The resulting impact sounded hollow. There are two possible explanations for this. Either the Moon is made of solid rock or it's hollow. If the Moon is solid, then the seismic waves would have traveled through the body of the Moon and come back out the other side. If the Moon is hollow, then the seismic waves would have traveled through the air inside the Moon and reflected off the inner surface before coming back out. Since the seismic waves return so quickly, it's clear that there is no air inside the Moon. Therefore, it must be hollow. And finally, there's the Moon's orbit. Every year, the Moon makes exactly 15 revolutions around the Earth, and every single orbit is perfectly circular. Now, you may be thinking, big deal, planets orbit the Sun every year. What's so strange about that? Well, it's the fact that the Moon doesn't ever slow down or speed up. Its orbit is always exactly the same distance from Earth. If the Moon were a spaceship, that wouldn't be too surprising. But according to physics, it should be impossible. There are three main forces that affect the Moon's orbit: gravity, the Earth's magnetic field, and solar radiation. All of these forces should cause the Moon to slow down over time, and its orbit should become elliptical. But we know that's not the case. The Moon's orbit remains perfectly circular, which means that something is keeping it in place. Some scientists believe that this force is the result of aliens using the Moon as a power source. Of course, none of this proves that the Moon is fake, but it does raise some interesting questions. Is it possible that the Moon is a hollowed-out chunk of rock that was placed in orbit around the Earth long ago? Is it possible that the Moon is powered by alien technology? And is it possible that aliens are using the Moon as a base of operations while they observe humanity? These are all questions that scientists are afraid to answer because they're afraid of what the consequences might be. After all, If we discover that the moon is fake, that would mean that everything we know about the universe is wrong. We would have to completely rethink our place in the cosmos. And who knows what else we might find out about ourselves in the process. Now watch. What if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Or check out NASA's secret plan to destroy the moon.